Good evening, folks. Certainly good to see all of you. I just got the thumbs up, so I guess that means we can get started. And we always start with the roll call, right?
Yeah.
Please.
Councilmember Lyles?
Here.
Councilmember McCarty?
Here.
Councilmember Mullins? Here. Vice Mayor Stovall?
Here.
Mayor Gross?
Yes, here. As I say, good to see all of you folks. Obviously, we have a quorum tonight. And I would remind you that you can pick up the agenda at the door as well as the list of citizen guidelines. We will start with the moment of silence. We use moment of silence here in a council meeting so that everyone can pray as they see fit. And if you decide to pray, and I hope you will, I plan to, I would ask you to keep this country, this community, and this council meeting in your thoughts and prayers. And we'll stand for that along with the Pledge of Allegiance. Who's going to do that this evening, sir?
Well, the town manager was going to do it, so I got the acting assistant town manager to do it.
Oh, he can do that?
Yeah.
He's acting.
He's acting.
He's acting.
Say, looks like face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with justice for all. You can act fast.
Good job, Cody.
So excited. He don't say aye. Figure out the aye part.
Oh, my God. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Cody.
Okay, let's move on to the community events. Councilmember McCarty, your show.
Okay, thank you. The only thing that the Vinton History Museum has is that they will be closed for Labor Day on September the 2nd. As well as the town offices will be closed. On September the 7th, we have our very first Vinton Pink Warrior Walk. It's at 5 p.m. at the Farmers Market. You can register online by going to vintonva.gov/Pink Warrior Walk, or you can go onto the town website or the InVinton website, and there is a QR code that you can use to go in. If you can't make it that night, all of the proceeds goes to breast care awareness, so you can sign up to donate on there as well. But please, if you would like to walk and you want a shirt, you do need to sign up before August the 24th so that we can order those shirts and have them in the packets for everybody. If you have anything that you want to donate for door prizes, or if you know anybody that have businesses that would like to donate, we would greatly appreciate those, and Tony can collect those here. We do have luminary bags that we're selling, which are the little bags, and we're going to put the glow sticks in them so they'll light up at the farmers market. So if you are honoring someone or walking in memory for someone and you want to show pictures that you have or anything like that, you can put those on the front of those bags, and Tony has those as well. So we're really looking forward to it. I'm sure it's going to be an awesome event. We've worked very hard on it, looking forward to it, so please spread the word for us. On October the 12th, we'll have the Vinton Fall Festival, and that's downtown, and it starts at 10 a.m. October the 14th, the town offices will be closed in observance of Columbus Day. On the 26th, we're having another shred event at the War Memorial from 10 to 1. Tony heads that up, and she's had very good luck in the past with that. Lots of people have come and used this shred event to get rid of all that clutter that's in your house that you held on to that you don't need anymore. October the 29th, we have our annual downtown trick-or-treating, and that's at the municipal building, which is where we are, right out front, and then lots of different merchants participate in that as well. We see lots of children, lots of participation there. We look forward to that every year. And we, as always, we encourage you to visit one of the many restaurants or entertainment venues in the community. We have lots of things going on in Vinton. There's things for adults and for children as well. So please go check that out. Lots of live music and bingo and everything. If you can't find something to do in Benton, then you haven't looked for it because we got it going. And I think that's it unless somebody else has something that I missed.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. Lots going on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, even though it's summertime, we still got some council activities, right?
We have several since we seem like we hadn't been here in a while.
I know.
Okay, back on July 23rd, Councilmember Mullins attended the Pink Warrior Walk Committee meeting. On July 31st, Mayor Gross and Vice Mayor Stovall attended the county administration meeting. August the 6th, Mayor Gross and council members McCarty, Lyles, and Mullins attended National Night Out, which was wonderful. August the 7th, council members McCarty and Mullins attended the Pink Warrior Walk meeting. August 13th, Councilmember Lyles attended the Benton 2050 Comprehensive Plan Advisory Committee meeting. August 14th, Council members Lyles and McCarty attended the Community Development meeting. And August 19th, Mayor Gross and Vice Mayor Stovall attended the Finance Committee meeting.
All right.
That brings us up to date.
Thank you. We've been busy. All right, next item is request to postpone or change the order of the agenda. Nothing? Okay. By the way, thank you, ladies, for all that information. We appreciate it. You bet. And we'll move on to the consent agenda. And tonight, it contains the minutes of the regular meeting of our June 16th meeting. Like you said, it seems like a long time ago. So are there any changes or additions to that? Hearing nothing, we'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. That was Councilmember, did you get it? Lyles and McCarty. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed saying sign. It was kind of slow there. I was going to say there's nothing controversial about it. Good grief. All right, we'll move on to our awards, presentations, and introductions. Mr. Bo Herman from the Public Works Department has got something for us, I think.
Good evening, Mayor and members of council. This first time we kind of done this. It's a cool idea, but tonight we got 2 new employees and we like to do introductions. This is Josh Schultz. He has a wife. My girl. Her name is Sharon. He has a daughter named Cara. That right? All right, cool. Cara. And she just started kindergarten. She's 5 years old.
Oh,
my goodness.
When Josh is not at work, his hobbies is anything outdoors, kayaking, hiking, and riding motorcycles.
Ooh.
Then we have Dylan Hambrick. He's with us. He's currently taking classes. He's getting his associate degree in business management at Virginia Western. When he's not doing schoolwork, he likes going to the gym, hanging out with friends, and trying to cook.
All right, so you guys just signed on, is that right? Well, good.
Welcome.
Welcome to Fenton. We'd love to shake your hands if you will come up.
Welcome. Thank you for having us.
Sir. Welcome. Thank you for being here. Well, officially.
Couldn't see her for the. She's a
Thank you. We appreciate you folks coming out. It's good to meet you, and glad you're with us. Thank you both.
I think Debbie's gonna get a picture. Gotcha.
All right, sounds good.
Bye.
Okay. With that, we'll move on to citizen comments and petitions. And I assume we have some folks that have signed up to speak tonight. And she'll call your name, please.
First up is Philip Bushy.
Evening, sir.
I am Philip C. Bushy III, 183 Sanderson Ridge Court, Roanoke, Virginia, 24019-1208. Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of Town Council, and Vinton staff, thank you for this time tonight to again explain Love Life Roanoke's future presence at 935 3rd Street when Summit Medical opens. Love Life is in the sanctity of life business. We perform this ministry through the uniting of churches to stand against abortion and thus solve the orphan crises. So far in 2024, Love Life Roanoke has 45 area churches and congregations that have joined the Love Life family. Our trained sidewalk counselors come from these neighboring churches. Since 2021, 65 moms have chosen life, some of whom we are presently mentoring. This year alone, 14 babies have been saved, and as reported earlier, one Uber driver who inquired with us during his time at Planned Parenthood when he dropped his client off, spoke with us, and before he left, he gave his life to Christ. At earlier meetings, it's been mentioned that the solution to why we're meeting here for our current third abortion clinic about to reside in Vinton, that it actually resides in Richmond. Well, legislatively, yes. There lies the governor's pen. However, my faith and study of civics shows that the premise is that the solution resides with us. The people in this room, the folks in our cities and towns, our legislators who could or would draft the legislation for the governor to use that pen. So I ask, how did we get from being known as the Star City of the South to the abortion destination state? It's not just Roanoke, the abortion destination state of the southeastern United States. I suggest this was due to the culture of complacency. The responsibility is not in Richmond. It is here in all of us. All of us citizens, legislators, pastors, church boards, school boards. If we cannot agree on the sanctity of human life itself, we are already careening down a steep, slippery slope. Before Summit Medical opens, Love Life Roanoke asks to meet with the Vinton Police to define a safe and serviceable area to greet incoming and outgoing vehicles. Perhaps at some point, some Vinton personnel could join us at 2nd Street, downtown, or Planned Parenthood, Peters Creek Road, to observe how we serve. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Good to see you. Someone else?
Scott Dreyer. All right, Scott Dreyer.
Good evening, Mayor and Town Council. Thank you for this opportunity to share. My name is Scott Dreyer, address 4015 Blandfield Drive, Vinton, Virginia. Speaking about a similar issue, but the abortion facility, and I represent myself, not any organization. A welcome letter I saw on the Vinton webpage says, from town manager, says, quote, services, activities, and events make Vinton the in-place to live, work, and play. Well, live comes first, because if we don't live, we can't work or play or do anything else. And I hope that we can keep Vinton a place to live and not to take life. I wish to respectfully request you, I understand all of us have restrictions on what we can do legally. We understand that. I want to respect that. But I ask you to do what you can do in your circle of influence to update the zoning ordinances to keep any future abortion facilities from opening in our town. And also, since one zoning application has already been approved, I'd like to respectfully encourage you to seek any way, using any tool in your toolbox to keep it from opening. Specifically, I'd like to request you to investigate the zoning application, one part about solid waste. And the document says, quote, no medical waste. Under the permit question, it says new business, office for doctor's office, women's health. If this is a clinic for women's health, wouldn't there be syringes, blood, urine samples, pap smears, hygiene products, etc.? Would those not count as medical waste? And if abortions are to be done, how will the employees dispose of the dismembered parts of the unborn children victims, the blood from mother and child, placentas, etc.? Would those also count as medical waste? And the new owners have on their website, they do plan to do physical abortions, not only pills. We found on Glassdoor.com a job posting for Vinton, and it says they will do first and trimester surgical procedures. So they will be doing surgical abortions at 3rd Street. So how could that not generate, quote, medical waste? How is that possible? I'm not a lawyer or doctor, but a teacher, and it seems like these facts are contradictory, if not fraudulent. So I'd like to ask you to research if the documentation can be proven to be fraudulent with intent to deceive or misleading. Use every tool in your toolbox, please, to keep it from opening. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Scott.
Yes.
Thank you. Anyone else? No. Okay. All right, thank you for your comments. We'll move on to our reports from the committees. Finance Committee. There you go.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, wearing multiple hats
Yes,
this
you are.
evening. Finance Director Keene is a little under the weather, and so we asked him not to share. So we are covering that. So we're in an interesting position this evening, not from the information that's necessarily being shared or that the finances are off, but just due to various circumstances, not had a formal Finance Committee meeting for a while. So one of the things that we're going to be asking you all to do tonight is we do have the financial statements from April, May, and June 2024 representing the previous fiscal year. So with your permission, I'd probably request just to give the high-level overview of the June 30 report, and then you all can handle those, and then I can speak briefly to the July 31 report. But June 30th, the fiscal year ended on what I would consider a high note. The council took action in June on some transfers and appropriations to clean up sort of some previously approved expenditures and got those budget amendments in place at the end of the fiscal year. And so where we sort of ended the fiscal year preliminarily in an unaudited position, the audit will be beginning on FY24 this coming fall, is with the general fund, the expenditures and revenues running a little bit neck and neck, which is always a good place to have. We do anticipate having a small surplus in the revenues to add to fund balance moving forward. And then in the coming, as we figure out where that is in the general fund and then in the capital fund, next month I'll be bringing forward some rollover appropriations for any unfinished projects from fiscal year 24 that are going to continue into fiscal year 25. So some of the departments did sort of hold back, or they didn't quite get started or get finished on some projects, so ask council to approve those rollovers. Grant fund is in a good position. Grant fund, we started to receive a number of reimbursements from the state, mostly from VDOT for the Walnut Avenue projects and from Department of DEQ, Department of Environmental Quality, for the Woodland Place project, that stream bank restoration project. So the grant fund typically runs in the negative throughout the year, since those grants are expended and then reimbursed, and it does take the state some time to reimburse that cash. They operate at the pace of Richmond in that regard, but a lot of those reimbursements started coming, and so the grant fund actually did end up fairly fairly good in getting the majority of those reimbursements back. So that's a very good position. The utility fund is closing out as of June 30th. So this is the final step in the sort of administratively the transfer of the utility system to the Western Virginia Water Authority. We held the utility system or the utility fund open to close out some final projects, but as of June 30th, that has closed out. And any remaining fund balance cash in that fund, we are anticipating moving to the stormwater fund, like for like, if you will, to cover some stormwater projects into the future with that one-time money. Capital fund ended strong. We still have a healthy reserve of one-time money sitting in the capital fund, which is we have pre-planned for some expenditures for the capital improvement plan in the coming years. So we will be spending down that money as we once again receive payments from the Western Virginia Water Authority, and then the town has fully localized, if you will, the federal money from the ARPA funds. So we have taken stock of all of that and used that, and it's now local money for our use. And so we will be building lots of projects between now and the coming 3 to 4 years with that money as it's planned out. So that's sort of the summary at the year end of June 30th. July 31st, 1 month into the new fiscal year. It's always hard to predict where the new fiscal year is going to end up just 1 month in. Revenue receipts are good for that. Some delinquent taxes that were billed out from the spring billing have been coming in. And then we have started to sort of push money out the door. Summertime is construction season, so lots of public works projects going out and just preparing for the fall and ultimately looking forward to everything that'll be going on in the rest of the fiscal year. So if you have any questions on where we stand, that'd be great. Otherwise, I'll ask Jeremy, do we need 4 separate actions?
No, I don't think so.
2 for each fiscal year, or we can do all 4?
I'm going to say all 4, but I like your point about the fiscal years.
Excellent.
I would do that.
So I would ask council to, if it's your will, to approve the financial report summaries for April 30th, May 31st, and June 30th, 2024 in one action, and then July 31st, 2024 in a separate action. So if you have any questions, happy to answer.
Okay, thank you, sir, for that.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion for the April, May, and June financial statements.
Second.
Motion and a second. Do we do a roll call on that? All,
It's optional. You do not have to.
okay. All, we don't. Okay. All in favor of approving the financial statements for April, May, and June, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Now, we'll need another motion for approval of the July.
Right, and I'll make the motion for the approval of the July 2024 financial statement.
Right.
And I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the July statement. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay. Taking care of business.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, Nathan.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council.
Good to see you.
See you too. So the Community Development Committee meeting met last Wednesday, August 14th. We discussed the PFG traffic signal, which was damaged in a vehicular incident, and the plans for the repair of that and it going back online. We also discussed the Wesley Avenue project. So with the redevelopment of the western block of Wesley Avenue and Walnut, we discussed the town's involvement in the possibility of providing pedestrian accommodations and aesthetic improvements to the alleys to the south and east of that block downtown, and also a possibility of a more direct pedestrian connection to the new parking lot on Walnut Avenue. And that would just incentivize more pedestrian traffic to be in the alleys behind those buildings, almost acting like a double frontage for the future properties or existing businesses that exist within that area. We also talked about the Jackson Walnut property, or for the former Steve Garage property. The RFP is currently out for prospective developers with potential development ideas for the town to consider. That RFP is due September 27th. Another bid the town has out is the Thrasher Stormwater Improvement Project. That's due September 11th. That's a stormwater project at Thrasher Memorial. It also crosses another private property owner's property, but that would provide a stormwater improvement to that channel that's currently within a existing culvert that's failing. But it's a main spine of a stormwater network that goes throughout the entire town that it eventually goes into Glade Creek. So the town's involved in that bid process. We've discussed the brownfield grant updates. We currently have environmental assessments or environmental questionnaires on taking place on a variety of properties, including the Gish Mill property, the downtown Fireblock properties, and a few other privately owned properties throughout the town. We discussed the community park update, and so going into this fall and winter, there'll be site work and ADA improvements in preparation for the playground equipment. The playground equipment has been purchased, but the install will not take place until the early spring of next year. We discussed the completion of both the crosswalks at Gusnick, the mid-block crossings at Gusnick's Boulevard and Hardy Road, and the realignment of the school zone at Hardy Road as well. There's a brief update on the progress at Glade Creek Greenway Phase 2B and the current coordination with Norfolk Southern with the retaining walls that are going to be installed as a part of that project. And then on a final note, the Vinton 2050 comp plan, we discussed where we're at in the process with the needs assessment and the formation of focus groups. And also on October 1st, here in the council chambers, the Plan Commission and Town Council will be having a joint work session. And so that covered the CDC meeting.
You guys were busy, right?
Yeah. I should ask are there any questions about any of the items on.
No, we don't have any questions. I think I'm good. Council, any questions or comments?
Thank you, Nate.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Don't go anywhere.
All right, yeah, I was gonna say, it looks like you're still the man, so we'll move on to the briefings if you want to go ahead with that, please, Nathan.
So this is a briefing on the proposed zoning ordinance amendments. These proposed amendments will require medical and dental uses to obtain a special use permit in RB, GB, CB, M1, M2, our planned development district, our mixed use development district, and it would also require hospitals to obtain a special use permit in GB, M1, and M2. So there's the three uses that we're proposing that would and our zoning ordinance would need to have a special use permit in order to be permitted on a property in the town of Vinton. So 6 principles concerning special use permits before we get into the justification section for why we're proposing these amendments. Number one, special use permits are legislative in nature, so they're decided by a governing body. These uses that are allowed by SUP or special use permit are considered to have a potentially greater impact than those allowed by a matter of right. They're evaluated under reasonable standards based on zoning principles. These impacts are addressed through conditions. So if a special use permit is permitted, then the council has the right to impose conditions in order to make sure that the impacts are addressed. But those conditions must be reasonably related to the impacts themselves, and the extent also has to be roughly proportional to the impact as well. It's a twofold test. And the decisions by a governing body, such as town council, in granting or denying a special use permit are presumed to be accurate and reviewed under the fairly debatable standard. So, in terms of justifications for these proposed amendments, a lot of this comes from the Virginia State Code and also our local town code, which is we're given authority by the state code in order to propose amendments like these and use special use permits. But a lot of it goes from broad categories down to more narrow. But starting first with, it's a broad declaration, but the declaration of legislative intent in the Virginia Code for why zoning, planning, subdivision of land even exist. I included a statement in the staff report. but highlighting three major things within why zoning and land use and planning exists in the state of Virginia in general. Three that highlight that are in connection with these use categories. One is recognizing the needs of agriculture, industry, and business and future growth. 2, provide residential areas with healthy surroundings for family life. And 3, to provide growth that is consonant with efficient and economic use of public funds. So that's just a high-level view of why these things exist in the state code and the legislative intent behind them. Second, the purpose of why zoning ordinances exist. I included the full language there in the staff report, but highlighting 4 that are related to these uses. 1 is the reduction and prevention of congestion in our public streets. 2 is the facilitation of the creation of a convenient, attractive, and harmonious community. 3, facilitating the provision of adequate services like water, public water, sewer, stormwater, and fire, EMS. You can list all the services that the town and county provides to the town residents. And 4th, to encourage the encouragement of economic development activities that provide desirable employment and enlarge the tax base. The third major state code section that we want to focus on is actually applying these zoning ordinances. So we talked about the reason why there's zoning period, talked about the purpose of zoning ordinances, but then matters to be considered when actually drawing and applying zoning ordinances. There's these factors that you can use with your lens when you're looking at a property and a proposed use. You can look at the existing use and character of the property, the suitability of property for various uses, the trends of growth and change, the current and future requirements the community has to land for various purposes, the requirements of public services, and the conservation of properties and their values, and the encouragement of the most appropriate uses of the land throughout the town. And so that covers the state code sections. The specific language in our zoning ordinance about special use specifically states about when we're applying special use provisions is to consider impacts of a proposed use on neighboring properties and deciding whether to grant or deny a special use permit or to impose certain conditions upon approved use. So with all that said, town staff find that the available property in the town of Vinton, so keeping in mind we're only 3.2 square miles, there's only so much available property for infill development, redevelopment opportunities. So using available property in the town of Vinton for a medical or dental facility or a hospital could impact the needs of industry and business and future growth, and all the other previously stated factors to consider when drawing ordinances, factors to consider when applying ordinances. I list them in the staff report. So with these factors considered, we recommend the change in the ordinance to no longer consider medical, dental facilities and hospitals as a matter of right, but to require such uses to undergo the special use permit process. This process will allow the Plan Commission and Town Council to evaluate, among other factors, the existing use and character of the property for the proposed medical use and dental, and the other factors that we just saw in terms of drawing out and applying the zoning ordinance, and those are all listed. There's a lot of listing of different factors in the application, but 2 things to keep in mind: the town's only 3.2 square miles. So there's so much available land. So Plan Commission and Town Council have the ability to review the current and future requirements of the town in terms of needs related to the encouragement of the most appropriate use of land, especially with market trends and existing uses throughout the town, to see if it is appropriate for such a land use, and the other considerations for public services, the suitability, the existing use, and the impact on neighbors. And additionally, with the state code definitions of medical being so broad, we can't write narrow definitions. So being able to allow the Plan Commission and Town Council to evaluate different uses and where they're going on, where they intend to go for parcels throughout the land, it gives the council the ability to review them through the lens of all these state code provisions that are allotted us. So with that said, that's the staff report and the briefing, and we'll be having a public hearing on September 3rd at the next council meeting, a joint public hearing with the Plan Commission.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Council, any comments or questions?
Good job.
Good job.
Very nice. Thank you. Good job, Nathan. Yeah, don't go very far. So the next item concerns this item that require action, a resolution. I guess you're going to tell us about this for certain services for the town.
Yes, sir. So we used to have a term contract for professional architectural engineering and surveying services that lapsed a few years ago. This is a common practice with local governments, but having an on-call list of architectural engineering and surveying firms on hand to be able to call on when you have a project like the community park or the War Memorial renovation, the parking lot as a past project. Having these term contracts allows the town to still navigate within the Virginia Procurement Act for what's permitted, but it makes it easier for us to hire firms without having to go through the full RFP process, depending on the financial threshold set. There's obviously caveats to that, but we submitted an RFP for qualified firms on May 26th. It was due June 17th, and we actually received 27 proposals from firms across Virginia and actually in other states as well. A committee reviewed these proposals, and tonight we need authorization to have in order to actually award the contracts to the firms selected throughout that process. A note: the contract can be renewed up to 3 times after this first year, so this will give us 4 years of being able to use these term contracts for these services within the town. But it'll help town staff across all departments when they have things related to these 3 broad categories, whether it be like a stormwater project, construction design project, and even it goes down like interior design. Anything within these broad categories, we can call on firms that are on our list.
Okay. Good deal. Thank you, sir. Council, any questions, comments?
Yeah.
Nope. If not, you have before you
Mr. Mayor, sorry. At the advice of council, that's why I sat over here. No.
Good idea.
What we were pointing out is with this on-call contract, technically, we will enter into a contract with each individual firm that's qualified under this process. Right. So what Mr. Carroll was pointing out was while each contract is a form contract, some of those who we enter into contract with, they may ask for some sort of change here or there that we, of course, have the ability to reject. So the action that we would just ask if moving forward would be to enter into a contract with each of the firms, each of the qualified firms on this list.
And the way the resolution is worded, it authorizes you to go forward or staff to go forward and execute agreements in a form substantially similar here too. So if there are some minor adjustments with an individual contractor, we can make those changes.
Okay.
If there's a material change, it's not done. It's not impossible that we bring one back to you to reconsider, but that's something. But the idea is to try to get them all handled in one resolution here and then move forward.
Absolutely.
Great. Okay. Sounds good. You guys got that? Mm-hmm. Okay. If so, you have before you a resolution that would authorize the town manager to move forward with the contracts as we've heard described this evening. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, we have motion by Councilmember Mayor, second by Vice Mayor Stovall. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles,
Yes.
Councilmember McCarty,
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stovall,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Resolution passes. Carries. All right, with that we have, there we go.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of council. Excuse me. So you have before you tonight the consideration of the adoption of a resolution authorizing the town manager to purchase a piece of property within the town located at 525 Tinker Avenue from Jimenez and Karki Properties, LLC. This is a piece of property that has long sort of been, maybe the best way to say it, sort of on the town's radar. It's a piece of property that's located in the floodway and in the floodplain along Tinker Tinker Avenue. And we have sought at various times in the past to purchase this property before, and just mostly for the health and safety of the property itself and to remove it from the floodway, from the floodplain, and just sort of work in that direction. So we were approached by the current owners for purchasing this property, and thanks to Mr. McClung and his working with the property owners, have arrived at an agreement, and it comes before you for approval. So happy to take any questions.
Okay. I guess you guys are
Mr.
familiar
Mayor, I would only add one thing, and that is we've already done the title work on the property. So as soon as this is approved, it'll actually move forward with closing pretty quickly. So.
Good. That's great.
And Mr. Carroll reminded me of something else, so I apologize. The resolution tonight is for not just the purchase of the property, but also appropriating some money for demolition and cleanup of the property.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, if there's something there that has to be taken.
So the action that you have before you in your packet tonight with the resolution allocates money for both of those functions. And we would anticipate, in order to sort of save the taxpayer money, that our public works crews could be able to perform a fairly decent amount of that demolition. But that would remove the property from the floodplain, floodway, return it to green space, and just have it available in a safe condition.
Great. Cool. Thank you. Very cool. I guess you folks are familiar with the property, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We should maybe confer with Public Works if that's okay. Jill, is that okay?
That was good, man. All right. I'm really glad to see this happening, because there again, it continues continues our program of kind of cleaning up some properties in town where we can. And in addition, this particular property could become, something would be valuable for us, perhaps not to individuals, but, it is near the Greenway and stuff like that, so who knows? So I'm really glad to see this. So, any other questions, comments? Nope. We have before us a resolution that would purchase the property and also allocate some funds for cleanup of the lot.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Councilmember Lyles, second by Councilmember McCarty. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles?
Yes.
Councilmember McCarty?
Yes.
Councilmember Mullins?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stovall?
Yes.
Mayor Gross?
Yes. Resolution carries. And one more. Right.
That's fine. It wasn't happy.
All right, Mr. Mayor, members of council, what you have before you in this item is the consideration of the adoption of a resolution authorizing the town manager to execute a deed of lease with the Commonwealth of Virginia for the health department property. So this has been something that the lease has been in effect since 2011. Yeah. We have been working on a month-to-month lease over the past year and working to get this and updated and have our due diligence done. So we have between the work of Mr. Carroll and his associates and the state arrived at a new lease. One thing that I would add, it is sort of the standard contract. There is the price of the lease has been amended slightly to cover some physical improvements and physical changes that we're sort of recouping on our end. And then because we're sort of still in the final stages of ironing out the last red line details, we are asking that the resolution be approved to essentially to form and pending any final changes. Sorry.
There have been a few emails back and forth with the Attorney General's office trying to narrow down on the final set of edits to the agreement, and there are a few outstanding issues we're still working through. I need to talk to Pete about those. They're fairly insignificant, but they're not yet finished. And so the way the resolution is drafted, I had suggested some language to Tony to authorize the town manager with my concurrence to make a few changes as needed to get us across the finish line. But we didn't want to hold up going ahead and getting it approved tonight so that we can hopefully get it signed in the next week or so.
It sounds good. So it sounds like those changes are something that does not concern you, Greg.
Just there are a few issues that I had made some proposed edits, and they came back and accepted some and rejected some with some different language. So just trying to get to a middle ground on a few issues.
Yeah. I will say, as far as I know, they've been a great tenant over there. You know, it's just like
Absolutely.
never hear from them hardly. So, yeah.
It's the best kind, no doubt.
Yeah, no kidding. That's for sure. Okay, Council, you have any questions, comments? No? All right, you have before you a resolution that would approve the deed of lease with the Virginia Department of Health.
I'll so move the resolution.
Okay.
I'll second.
Motion by Vice Mayor Stovall, second by Councilmember Mullins. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Lyles,
Yes.
Councilmember McCarty, Councilmember Mullins,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Stovall,
Yes.
Mayor Gross.
Yes. Resolution carries. All right, with that, we'll move on to the town attorney's section. I don't see anything listed, but I'm glad you've already helped us out tonight.
Well, I tend to work on everything else that comes up on the agenda, so.
Right, I know what you mean. Always looking good with your spiffy ties, I will say that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right, town manager's report.
I just have a couple extra things to add, other than, I guess, when I'm acting town manager, Jeremy gets to talk more, so maybe that's a benefit. The biggest updates that I have, just want to thank Nathan and Community Development Committee, because as you can tell, a lot of what we would otherwise be updating on is handled through that committee. That's always very busy. And of course, if you have any questions or follow up on that, feel free to reach out. The other items just of note mostly have to do coming out of Public Works. You will notice that the new signal heads at the Virginia and Pollard intersection have been installed by Elliott. So that was a number of months coming, and the new arrow lights for the left-hand turns on from Virginia onto South Pollard, and then on Washington, from Washington on to Bypass Road have been installed. They have not been programmed yet, so they will be a flashing yellow arrow to allow sort of yielding left turns when blinking. The subcontractor is anticipated to come in next week to program those. That's not something that Elliott does, but they contracted out. Once those are done, we would still anticipate bringing in the signal timing contractor that we had brought in before to sort of look holistically at the network once again and get some timings down. We are still working on, for example, Niagara Road, that signal is in recall currently, and we have ordered a new camera for that as well. So the signal lights, the 11 of them that we have in town is a little bit like whack-a-mole, but we continue to push through and just ask for patience from the traveling public. So I'm excited about the flashing yellow arrows. That should help, especially with the morning commute there at Washington and Bypass with folks coming in from Roanoke County and Bedford County. Today, we had some mechanical issues with the trash truck, so we weren't able to pick up trash, but we will be doing a double run tomorrow with that. We'll have one trash truck that will be starting bright and early at its normal time. The second trash truck should get started a little bit later in the day, and I'm going to put Bo and Jill on the spot. Do you know which route is going to get started first? All right, so the Tuesday route, for anyone who may be wondering, the Tuesday route will get started first, and then the Wednesday route will get started a little bit later, but working on that. The new trash truck that we had ordered is scheduled for delivery sometime in the early part of September. So hopefully that will, knock on all the wood, mitigate some of these issues. But once again, we just thank the citizens for sticking by us and rolling with the punches, and we will get the trash picked up as soon as we possibly can. I know that's a service that we're proud of, they're proud of, and we try to stay on top of.
Yeah.
The last item, which is a little bit of a celebration, so I don't want to hide it too much, but just want to take the time to call it out, is that we were notified earlier this month that downtown Vinton has been officially designated on the National Register as historic downtown Vinton. So we are looking for ways to recognize that, call attention to that, and we can start using that designation officially for anything we want to at this point. So that's a big achievement for us, and happy to celebrate that. So if you have any questions about that or anything else, happy to answer them. But other than that, that concludes my remarks.
All right. Thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that the new truck is going to be here soon. And as you mentioned, Cody, we just asked for our assistance. A little bit of patience for today, I guess, because those guys do a great job. So I'm sure they'll get caught up tomorrow. They just do an awesome job. It's, to me, one of the enhanced services that the town of Vinton provides that our citizens really appreciate. I know I appreciate it. So, yeah. Okay. So that's all you got, right? In that case,
what else do you want him to have?
I would say that's all I know about.
Don't give him a chance to talk again.
I'm shocked.
Let me flip my napkin over. And
I'm shocked. No. Sorry.
He's got some names.
So we'll turn it over to council. Vice Mayor, I'll start with you this evening. You have anything?
I do. I got one thing I'm just going to echo with y'all being here. We received a very well-written text message from Pete right after the flood, and he commended you, Chief, you, Bo, and Tim Lawless for your work that you did during that time. Naturally, we got a lot of water, a lot of things happened, but thank y'all. Thank y'all very much for giving to gas for us and keeping everybody safe and doing everything you need to do. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Baby, you have anything further?
I just would like to remind everyone of the Pink Warrior Walk coming up September 7th. We're excited. Sabrina and I made our video debut.
Yeah.
And
Video debut.
just trying to get some people to come out and join us, and it's for a good cause, and we'll have a good time.
How many YouTube hits you got yet now? Got any YouTube hits
I
yet?
don't know. I haven't looked.
You're a YouTube sensation.
Good job. You can get your autographs before it hits thing. No, that's an important day, so I appreciate y'all's work on that. Sabrina, anything further?
I do. I failed to mention earlier that August the 24th, Mingle at the Market from 7 to 10 at the Farmers Market will have 5 Shades of Gray and Copper Dog and Company food truck. So I wanted to make sure that I made that announcement, and hats off to the police department for a wonderful national night out. My restaurant this week, which it seems like it's been forever, but is Renee's. I was able to have breakfast there with some friends the other day, and it was always good as usual. And I want to give a shout out to Woods Auto, because at 4:20, I ran over a nail or something, a screw. And I texted Chris and I said, oh my gosh, I'm 100% sure I'm gonna have a flat tire. He said, get over to Woods. So I walked in, they met me with a smile. I said, I think I've got a nail in my tire. And they said, well, we'll pull it in. And they got it out, and I got to here on time. So I just want to give them a shout out, because that was exceptional service. And I'm not sure that I always would be able to work, that I would be able to walk in there and do that. But today, praise the Lord, I was able to do it. So I just want to give a shout out to Woods.
Well, we have some great merchants in town. They're one
Do that.
That's for sure. Mr. Lyles.
Yeah, same thing with National Night Out. It's always a good time. It keeps getting bigger. I like how it was spread out this year. And, you know, more people join us every year, and it seems like we're the place to be for National Night Out. It's a really cool night around the country, and I think we have one of the coolest ones. So thanks, Chief. You guys do a great job. The other, a couple of weeks ago, we approved the yard sale vendor market. We changed all that, and we saw the diagram of what it was going to look like, just boxes and squares. However, I saw a picture of them actually building it out, and it really looks good. They're using like all the space in there, and it looks really like it's going to be a cool little place. So
Yeah.
it was kind of deceiving looking at it on that flyer, but
Right.
it really looks good.
Good.
And then the last thing I got is, Cody, you said the signal contractor is coming back. Do we pay him? Do we pay them? Just curious.
We do.
Do we pay them to come here, or do we pay them to fix the signals?
Fixed is in the eye of the beholder.
That was my whole point. Just curious if we get anything done when they come here or not.
Yes. We will keep you posted.
Okay, thank you.
Good answer. Good answer.
That's about as good an answer as I've heard recently.
Again.
It's the second best answer to the town attorney would like to speak on the matter.
Oh man.
He comes to us from Texas, and so we'll have him evaluate, and we'll notify all of council when that is, and hopefully get some good reports. The last time he was in, it did work really well for a couple weeks, and then I think the gremlins got into it, so we're going to be keeping a better eye on it this
I'm
time.
just curious if it's job security. I always come back.
It's hackers. Yeah.
Well, it's given me an opportunity to dig out some of my really old music, so I've now listened to Aretha Franklin, so I'm sorry, I couldn't resist this. It's not that.
The whole set?
Not that. Oh, boy. Okay, I won't dwell on it since Keith did such a great job, but I too would like to mention that I thought National Night Out was great. You know, I know you guys work hard on that, and it really showed. So congratulations to all those that put in such a great effort to pass that along for us.
Yes, sir.
We'd appreciate that. You folks may have picked up when Councilmember Mullins was going through her list, the meeting that Vice Mayor and I attended with Roanoke County. I just wanted to point out or remind everyone that we do that on a regular basis, usually quarterly. So we try to stay in touch with Roanoke County. Obviously, they are our partners in so many of our projects, and so we just like to keep the communications open, and it has worked real well. I thought it was a good meeting, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, really, the biggest point, well, the only point really of discussion was the community meeting that she wants to have in September.
Yeah, exactly. The other thing I have is, as you folks know, our former town clerk's mother, Susan's mother, had passed away. So the town sent some flowers, and she did send us a thank you card for that. So I'll pass that around if you would like to take a look at that. I'm kind of excited. I'll just mention briefly, I'm very excited, as a matter of fact, about the fact that we are now historic downtown, or designated as a historic downtown. I think that will be really neat to work with that. And what's nice about that, the way I understand it, even though it's a historic designation, we actually get to set the rules. So we're not going to set rules that won't let anyone make improvements and stuff like that, obviously. So there's nothing to be concerned about as far as that goes. So, but it will be nice. It'll let us have some flexibility as far as applying for grants and stuff like that. It's really neat. Okay, that's all I have. Is there anything else for council meeting this evening? If there's nothing further, we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Thank you, folks. God bless you.